All right, I'm going to try to make a helpful video here. Hopefully somebody out there in internet land finds this helpful. So I'm under my 97 Lincoln Town Car, and I'm under the power steering pump. Now I have replaced this pump. I have replaced this upper hose here. And this is the factory high pressure line, okay? Now in here is a fitting. It's an 18 millimeter. Excuse me, I'm doing everything one-handed here. So this is an 18 millimeter fitting in here, right here. Now, I took an 18 millimeter wrench and I ground it down on one side, and I also shortened it up quite a bit. And the reason I did this is because hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. This wrench barely fits in here. You see where it's touching? As I turn this wrench, it's touching the pulley. And you can't, there's not enough room to take this pulley off ahead of time. So you have to remove this pump with the pulley attached, and then you take the pulley off with a puller. So I'm using this thin down wrench, and it's thin down on both sides, by the way. I took quite a bit off of this, and like I said, it still barely fits in here. Okay, still recording. Cool. All right. Well, if this thing will focus, maybe. Okay. So I have broken loose this fitting, and it's going to drip like crazy. This has actually been empty for a while, but hopefully you're able to see what I'm talking about here. This fitting has like a little O-ring on it. You see how it's all kind of gray and chewed up here? Right here. And if you notice, this is threaded in pretty good. It's not just one or two threads holding it in place. So my issue is I have a new pump with the old factory hose. And what's happening is it is leaking around this seal. Now the pump came with an O-ring, but this is not an O-ring. This is like a piece of plastic that's kind of permanently bonded on there. It's not real easy to take it off. So I'm going to try to use some sort of a gasket maker around this area here to seal it up. I'm going to let this drip out overnight. Anyway, just something to be mindful of, that you are going to need an 18 millimeter wrench that's super thin, and you may have a problem sealing that up if you're trying to reuse the factory hose. It's a really tight squeeze, so be prepared for that. Give yourself as much room as possible. Whatever you can get out of the way, get out of the way. Definitely remove the oil filter first. You cannot take the pulley off first. You have to remove the pump before you remove the pulley. There's just simply not enough room to get a puller in there before you remove that pump. So hopefully you found this helpful.